And we're back. Welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terryl. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Yeah, well, we are those people, and we've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the regular guys, random thoughts. God damn it, almost said married at first sight.
Yes, that means you want to do it. Yeah. See, I told you, keep pushing. He wants to do it.
Get out of my head. Get out of my head.
Prayer Warriors
It's
Unite.
the regular guys, random thoughts. 90 Day Fiance season 9 recap.
Yeah.
I believe this is episode 6.
Damn, how far back do you want us to go? Yeah, no, this is way past episode 6. Actually,
I'm sorry, I've been off. I've been off for a week.
This is episode 10.
Okay, I've been off for a week. I got to get my mind back into the game.
I understand, since you were on the beach doing your Baywatch auditions. I mean, I guess you've still got bikinis on your mind. So I know people were thinking that I put slow motion effects on that video. I will say this, man. I know you've been working out, but Jesus, we need to work on your speed, man.
I think there was a little bit of slow-mo on that. I mean, I normally am about a 13.5 100-meter dash, and I think you kind of turned it to about a 14.2.
Now, is that a 100-meter dash or 100-centimeter dash? I'm just trying to make sure we got the measurements right.
Camera angles. There's a lot of things you can do with Photoshop, and Yanni knows how to do all this stuff, so don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Okay. Hey, welcome back, man. I know you had a good time, and I told people that you actually were going to watch last week's episode, so go ahead and tell them I was right and that you did actually watch last week's episode too.
I did actually watch last week's episode because I didn't really have anything to watch in the evenings one night. And so I was like, you know what? Let me see what I missed. I heard the review and great job to you and Lex with the curls. Y'all did a phenomenal job. So I had to watch and see what y'all were talking about.
Yep. Well, shout out to Lexi with the curls. Appreciate you as always. And, there's a seat here open for you anytime. So, we definitely got to get you back, especially once we get Terryl on this Married at First Sight, season 15. As you can see,
I was thinking, what do we do if you go on vacation? Because I don't know how to do all this production. So, will we just go old school, me and Lexi with the curls on FaceTime?
We have to figure something out. Well, speaking of vacation and going to these great spots, and you were in Cancun, I was in Charleston this past weekend, and all these destination spots. And as we kick off this week's episode, Emily and Kobe, they were going to a great space too. Rock City, Rock City, bitch. And then they got there.
I've never heard of Rock City, and I was expecting something bigger. So I don't blame Kobe for this is it.
You're expecting Rock City.
I was just thinking something like that's just what it's called. It's like Rapid City.
Right.
I'm not expecting rapids everywhere, but I expected something bigger. If I just went and it's just waves and that's it, I'd be like, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, I felt him. He's like, Americans are crazy, man. And he's like, I'm going to just pretend to be happy because, she's so excited about this. He's right. It was just rocks. And then she puts him in a rock.
Emily's wild, man. One thing that her mom said when they were trying on dresses, that Emily does what Emily wants to do. And I made a note. I'm like, it's the parents' fault that Emily does what Emily wants to do.
Yep.
Y'all created this monster, and now y'all are just allowing it to just constantly go on. It's like Jurassic Park all over again. You let the beast out, and you don't want to rein it in. You just let it grow.
Yeah.
And just figure that it's just going to be nice one day. Emily is just... The fact that she asked her parents to pay for the wedding. Yeah. Because I did watch that in that last episode. I'm like, well, that's bold of them. And I get traditionally the parents of the bride would pay for the wedding. Traditionally. So they're going to give them $10,000 budget, for this wedding. And I agree with Kobe. He was like, I don't think we need to blow all $10,000. Yeah. What if we did a wedding for $5 and then we could pocket the other $5?
Yeah, because you can use that to get the hell out the house.
But where does she get this money from to buy her own ring? I'm like, you're a nanny. And I'm sorry, I don't know. Hit me up in the comments if nannies make that kind of money.
They do if they're not paying rent, electricity. Well, when you're not paying any bills, yes, you do make that kind of money. I mean, and it's funny, you said the exact same thing that I thought, because as I'm watching them trying, Emily trying the wedding dress and the look on her mom's face. Her mom was thinking the same thing I was like, oh my gosh, he's so irritating. But the only thing I'm thinking is, it's your fault. You did this. You created this monster, and this is what you get as a result. And, as I watched that, I'm thinking, Kobe should have met Madeline instead of Emily.
I don't know. Madeline doesn't have that look like she wants some chocolate.
But then there's that
her
too.
Oreos. Yeah. Compared to Emily, looks like it all day. Like just walking down the street, you're like, brothers.
Oh, you say she's got that look, huh?
She's got that look. She's got that look that she's just like, I want something different than what's normally around here in Salina, Kansas. I'm going to go down to Kansas City for the weekend.
Oh, speaking of moving around, man, Jibri Miona, finally back from Chicago. They're back in Rapid City, South Dakota, and Jibri decides he didn't make that decision. Again, there's most decisions happening for him right now to be made by somebody else. And so his mom and stepdad decide to have him meet them for coffee outside the house. And I like the way he's like, we have coffee at home. We could have done this at home, so I know this is going to be a long convo.
The more I hear Jibri, I give him more credit than what I did from the first couple episodes, because I think there is some more depth to him than this character that he puts out. But I thought it was funny how his mom and dad are sitting there, and they're talking about taking time off, and we're not sure we're able to do that. I'm like, time off is not the issue. Just say you don't want him to marry Miona. And then eventually they did. I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere in the conversation. As soon as they said it, I'm just typing. I'm like, in my notes, I'm like, that ain't the issue. Just say you don't want to do it. Then finally they say it. I'm like, there it is. There it is.
But okay, is it me, or did you think that was selfish of them though? Just because they don't approve of it, they think they need more time and all this. Don't you think it was selfish of them to say, well, we're not going to come because, or even not even just to say it, but to come to that decision that they're not going to go to the wedding just because they don't like her?
I don't know, because I'm not a parent, but if my child was marrying somebody that I just did not approve of, I don't know what I would do. If it was family that, married somebody I didn't approve of, would I still go? I've stood in weddings that I'm just like, this is dumb, but
this ain't
whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean? But so I don't know. But at least they were honest.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you can do is just be honest and say, hey, I don't approve. If we can make it, we can make it. But just let you know now, I don't think this is going to work out. But because this is what you want and I love you, fine, we'll be there.
And that's my point right there. I think it's really selfish of them to say, we don't approve, so we're not coming. Because who you're hurting then is the person you love and you care about, right? It's okay to say, I don't think this is the right decision, but I'm going to stand by you and I'll be there. I'm going to be sulking. I'm not going to be happy, and I'm going to put on a fake smile, but I'll be there because it's about being there for each other. That's what family's supposed to do, right?
Yeah. True. They are, but families should at least be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm curious, does Miona have any concept of finances? And I feel like, again, the producers want us to see what they want us to see.
Yeah. It's
almost as if all these people that came here to the U.S. didn't look up what things cost in the U.S. So Kobe comes down with $4,000. This should last me for a year. It's like, no, it's not. Not even in Salina, Kansas. That's not going to last you anything, but just that mindset. And so Miona wants all these things. And we don't know if Miona maybe has money, maybe her parents in Serbia have some type of money, but she's just wants what she wants. But I think she's very selfish.
But is it selfish on her part? I agree with her though. If we've decided that this is what we're going to do, right? And then all of a sudden he's like, well, maybe we should just date. And she's like, well, I'm not going to move back to Serbia. And we just keep dating for you to decide whether you want to marry me or not. You know or you don't. And so I agree with her in this sense. If I go back to Serbia, we're no longer together. Because she's got to go find somebody else to bring her back over.
Well, I made a note that the comment she told him that, you're almost 30 and you're still doing what your parents tell you to do. Yeah. You need to grow up. And I was just like, I agree with her there. Yeah. You're almost 30. You're living at your parents' house. You don't even have a car. Time to man up. If this is what you want to do it. and just say, hey, mom, dad, this is what I'm doing. And here's my plan. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. But right now it's like, mom, dad, this is my plan. And we're going to be living with you until we can get on our feet. And I'm going to keep driving y'all's car around. That's not a plan.
And Jibri, we have a better plan for you. We've talked about it. We saw it a couple episodes ago. Move to Chicago, work for David, drive the goddamn truck. While you're on the road, you'll have time to think of those stupid ass songs you sing, and you'll be able to go back to the studio and record them. You'll be right in the same city. You'll have more time for these black Serbs to get together and put together some music. Because while you're on the road, you have nothing but time in your hands to be creative.
I agree. Now I've been curious, if all of them were black and Serbian, I get it, but I don't understand the title Black Serbs.
Well, I don't think they meant by Negro Serbs. So, I mean, black may be the mood. Black may be the lead singer and the female singer, the female rapper. That may be just
the female rapper.
Yeah, so
with the flow.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Now that you say that, it's 4 of them in the group. Half of them are black. But only one of them Serb, and the other one is an alien, an alien from Iowa. But David is obviously the money behind it, so therefore you got to get Serbs in there at some point.
Okay, I guess him and David started, so black and Serb, Black Serbs.
There you go.
Okay, got it.
The Charleston Caribbean Jerk Festival returns.
What's this scene? Yeah.
Saturday, July 16th. Gates open at 5 p.m. at Riverfront Park in North Charleston. With lots of food, arts and crafts, memorabilia, face painting for the kids, live music, and fun for the whole family. Tickets are only $10 and children under 12 are free. Get your tickets now at chsjerkfest.com. We saw the highlight leading into this week's episode, that flying monkey kick from Bini. I know that sounded like it was going to be bad, but it's really. I'm not quite sure if that's the actual technical term of that move that he did, but I mean, hey, look, if you didn't see the episode, you would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Why you got to go Howard Cosell on Bini like that?
Look at that little monkey go. Now, before we even get to the fight, though, I want to talk about Ari, right? Because she did all the things you were not supposed to do for a fighter before the fight. I mean, she talked about how much she doubted that he could do anything in there, or he could get hurt. She put all kind of doubt in this man's head the night before, the day of, right before he's going out to fight. I'm like, Jesus Christ, woman, that man's gonna go out there and just burst into tears. What are you doing? You're not built for this shit.
She pulled that drunk uncle on him. You ain't gonna be shit. Cause your daddy wasn't shit.
Oh my God. I felt so bad for him. And then he got in the ring. I was like, oh, never mind.
Well, I mean, I still say kudos to Bini for his spirit, his drive, regardless whether he can fight or not, the amount of discipline it takes to be that physically fit, to be that athletic. Kudos to him on that. Now, Ari, when they started this episode talking about him sparring with a female, I think Ari's issues with being jealous is Bini's fault.
Yeah. He
created that. And so I get where she's coming from. Did she handle it wrong? Definitely. But he created this thing in her of her being so jealous. So he has to own that. He's not going to.
Okay, hold on. I got to say this, though. You can't say he created it. He may have awakened it, but that shit was already there.
Maybe so. I can't say that. I can't say that every jealous woman was already jealous until somebody did something to make her even more jealous, which is what you're saying. I'm saying that she might have went into this with open heart and open mind, but Bini's actions, especially while she was in the States, made her doubt. And because Bini likes the attention and all that type of stuff, I think he has to be the one to put her at ease and should have told her. And he knew he should have told her, but he knew she would get mad. So he didn't tell her.
Because, and I'll say this why too, and I get it. His actions when she went to the States were part of the reason, but part of that too, her mom put that in her early on when in 90 Day the Other Way, right? When they went to go see him dance because he's dancing with this other woman, and he's got the woman upside down, her legs spread open, so her crotch is in his face and all this, and her mom's like, "Oh, are you comfortable with him doing this?"
But not every person would be. Not every person would be. I mean, that's valid, right? If you dated a ice skater and her partner is a man who happens to be straight this time, so you might be a little bit intimidated. Well, because I figured you're going to say, well, most male ice skaters, not all of them are. So, I mean, that there's nothing wrong with that. But I think, again, that's still up to him to put her at ease that him cheating is not an issue. And so I think that's on him for doing that. But what'd you think of Ari's dress for the fight?
I didn't.
It looked like somebody just got like a large lifesaver wrapper and just wrapped it around just the midsection with the arms, and she's up like this, just getting wrapped around.
Yep. It looked like Ari was going to prom as a junior. She got invited to somebody's senior prom, and she was like, "Okay, I'm going."
Yeah, that dress was too short for a cotillion. That was more of a prom type outfit.
The most impressive thing, though, it was not just the 33 seconds that Benny beat this guy in, but the backflip off the top of the octagon. That was actually pretty damn impressive, even though he almost took out the ref at the same time.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was just like, ooh, that ref almost got hit in the head. But yeah, I mean, he came out with the flying kick, and I was just like, okay, that's bold. Looked like he did well. And then when he put the choke on him, I was like, wow, look at Benny. So, and I'm sure they probably got another amateur level fighter, or they just grabbed someone out the stands and said, who wants to be in this?
Hey, you!
I didn't think he would lose that fight.
Right.
It's just for the show's sake. I don't think he would lose that fight. So, but still, I was still impressed with it. And the fact that he got in the ring. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing about MMA fighters. It doesn't matter how good you are. You got into the ring.
Yes.
I'm not getting in the ring. So I'm impressed with him.
It's easy when you're sitting on the outside, especially on the other side of the screen, watching and going, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. For somebody who's gotten in the ring and sparred with somebody, and even with the headgear on, if you walk into a jab the wrong way in a boxing ring, you're going to see stars. And that's just a jab. So getting in the ring and fighting somebody mano a mano, anything can happen in that ring or in the octagon and any given time. So you're right. Kudos to him. He won regardless. Whether he won the fight or not, he was going to be a winner anyway, because once you step through the gates in the octagon or step through the ropes in a ring, you're already a winner, regardless of what your record says when this fight's over.
Agreed. 100%.
But we sure would have clowned had he lost, though. Let's be honest. We would have made some jokes about that.
Depends on how he lost. If he just got knocked out, if he came with that flying kick, the guy just stepped to the side and gave a little and knocked him out. Yeah, we'd have been clowning. Yeah. Although I still would say, hey, at least he got in the ring and then got his ass whooped.
We give a little credit, but then a whole lot of other shit. Oh, man. I think as we move to Cara and Guillermo, I think it was, first of all, Cara goes out, and I like the fact that Guillermo was like, you know what? I don't feel like it, so I'm going to stay home. But I didn't like how he tried to make love to the goddamn washing machine and dryer, though. What the hell was that?
Well, from where he came from, maybe he didn't have that type of washer and dryer. And so, when you upgrade, it's like, ooh, look at this.
Yeah, but he called Maria, I can put a lot of stuff inside of you.
He did get creepy with it. He did. I'll admit, I was trying to make jest of it, but he was a little creepy.
If I'm a lawyer, I'm calling that washing machine right now. Hey, you need some representation? We got a case here. But she goes to sit down with her friend. But I think it really says a lot and shows a lot about her, because the first thing, so what's been going on? A lot. Well, great. And she said, where do I start? Well, you know what? We're going to start with some shots because I already ordered them. I'm like, there you go. That's her. She's the party girl.
Mm-hmm. Well, you and I talked about this offline that Guillermo did events, so he should have an idea of what some of the stuff costs. And so when they want to go look at venues and all that, I get it. But today's episode, what got me was two things. One, they talked to a lawyer, and the lawyer said that Guillermo can't work for 6 to 9 months after they get married.
Yep.
Like that's the minimum of how long it's taking. So it's going to be a while for him to be able to legally earn money.
Right.
And she's wanting him to be more in charge.
Yeah.
You know, and step up. But he doesn't have the financial power to do so.
Right.
So how can he be in charge if he has zero money and you're making all the shots with the money? So how can he? I feel like that just contradicts itself. You can't be someone broke and trying to tell the person who's bringing in money what to do. At
the same time, her friend, and forgive me, I don't remember his name, and I really don't care to. But he had a great point. Are you just saying that, or is this what you really want? Because every time that Guillermo says something that she doesn't like, she takes offense to it. So he's right. She says that's what she wants. But she doesn't act like that's what she wants.
True. But I still go back to the financial power. If Guillermo all of a sudden landed a job tomorrow making $100,000 a year. Now, Kara's not making $100,000. She's just getting her career taken off with real estate. No, she's not at that point. But now he has the financial power. Then she's going to probably take a step back on some of the stuff that he's trying to call the shots on. But right now, all the things he wants, it sounds great. It's the American dream, but she's realistic. Like, hey, we can't afford that. Yeah. We got to think about this. So then she has the final say, and he doesn't want her to have the final say. So to me, I think of financial power. You know, how can he be in charge and win those kind of arguments?
That's a great point, and I still stand by her. And I think I said this a couple episodes ago. Like, you know, just go to the courthouse now. In a year or two, you can have that bigger wedding, that ceremony. I mean, hell, my wife and I did it because of the pandemic. You know what I mean? So, I totally understand that part of it. And even though he's thinking, well, in a year we'll be talking about kids. Slow down. You need to be talking about a job first. Because according to the lawyer, she'll only be 6 months. He'll only be 6 months or 3 months working. You don't have enough for a kid yet.
Well, educate me. So, in their contract, can they not do that? Like, if they come over, could they just say, "Forget this 90 days in the show. We're gonna go to the court and do it now," or can they not do that until the 90 days is up?
So you have 90 days to get it, because according to the thing, and I think they play up a little bit more and go all the way to the end. But you can. Matter of fact, there's one of the women, I can't remember her name, but she's actually here in Georgia. And they have a store. They have the bra store up in Kennesaw, right above Atlanta. And when she brought her guy over from Dominican Republic, they had actually already gotten married. That's which she hadn't told the producers. They were playing along like they was going through the 90 days, and then he just ended up leaving her. And they were like, well, he's got to leave the country, right? And she's like, well, no, actually, we already got married. And they're like, what? It was a whole big thing because she got married and never told them. Like, they just went and did it, and which you can do. And I don't think it's in the contract that they can't do that. I guess, you know, for the storyline, they probably say, well, don't say that and let's play this up, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, the more you know.
Speaking of the more you know, I'm glad to see the throuple was not there this time, and it was actually, we got to see Patrick and Thais. But you know what? I'm sorry, John was still there because John was all over Patrick in this. I mean, I did not see Patrick. I saw John. I saw John and Thais. Am I wrong?
No, I think I saw Patrick looking at his bank account. Just going, wait a minute. Let me borrow your hand real quick. Ooh, it's going to be tight. That's what I saw. I saw Patrick thinking about eating ramen for a couple weeks to make up for some of this stuff that he's having to pay for.
I saw Patrick being an asshole. I pay for this food and water. Shut your ass up. Really? Food and water? You asked her to come here.
Okay, so I slightly agree with Patrick. You know, now when it came to them going shopping, and you and I had this on the show, and I was like, I don't give a shit about what my place looks like. If someone wants to move in, they want to decorate it, Great. So I'm like, Patrick, why not just give her a budget and say, look, here's $2,000 max. And you go find whatever you want within this budget and do whatever you want to it.
Yes.
That's fine. Instead of go with her and start to shoot down, you're in that store and all you pick out is a $32 ugly vase.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, so I thought that was crazy. And then
he's controlling.
Why wasn't the fact that I think the issue is this. It's obvious that he would be the one paying for everything.
Yeah.
But he can't afford it. Which is why he has John living in the house. Because he can't afford all the bills. But I mean, you should have known that's the plan. She can't come over here and work.
Right.
And I don't know what she did for a job in Brazil, but you're going to be paying for everything. So then why is this bothering you?
I mean, here's the thing I don't get. You can't ask somebody to come in and be a part of your life, to become one, and then you go, it's my house, so therefore you have to accept everything I do. Everything I do. Oh, well, you don't need to know anything about my finances until we're married. Then you're not ready to be married. And it feels to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels to me as if he had absolutely no power in his first marriage, right? And that's why he's overcompensating here and going, well, I've got somebody who has no legal rights here in the States at the moment, no footing to stand on, nothing to keep them grounded. I am it, so I'm going to seize all this power. And that's what it feels like. And it's just, I hate that. Like, she's not, her dad was right. And the fact that she brought it up, her dad was right. She's not your sex slave. This is not what this is.
Well, it goes back to what I've been saying about financial power. She has no financial power.
It begins and ends here.
Yeah, she has no financial power in a relationship.
Yeah.
She has pretty privilege. And pretty privilege meant when he went to Brazil and, shopping, buying her stuff, he was courting. Of course. Yeah, I'll come down and get you whatever you want, boo. Yeah, it's all good. But now he has to actually take care of her for real and kind of run this business and all that. It's totally different. But I agree with you that maybe he should sit down and explain the budget and explain, like, look, babe, this is how much money I make. Here's what John's money goes to. Here's this. If I kick John out, here's what's going to be down in here. And so you want to get your eyebrows done, we have to cut that out. You have to teach me how to do it. I can watch YouTube videos. I can hook you up. But we can't afford to do this.
Yeah.
If you want a pedicure, again, YouTube videos. I'll figure out.
You may lose a toe or two.
I got a cheese grater in the kitchen. I can hook it up, get up under the feet. But just be able to explain the budget to her because she doesn't really know. And maybe in her mind, when you were coming to Brazil and you're just dropping all this money, you have more than what I think that you have, and you have this vehicle that I've not seen. You have more than what I think you have. This home and all that stuff. But the thing that tripped me out is when he was talking about, I pay for food, pay for the house, pay for the water, pay for your eyebrows, I pay for all your things. She said, it's your job.
Yes, she did. Well, but to be fair, and I noticed they haven't brought it up this season at all yet, but to be fair, and it's come up in other seasons I've seen where if you get married on the K-1 visa, you bring somebody over on the K-1 visa and you get married, you're financially responsible for that person for a certain number of years. So even if you get divorced, that you are responsible for that person.
So they get married. Well, if they get married and it doesn't work out, they get divorced, he'd still be financially responsible for her.
Exactly.
Regardless. So
because you brought her to the country, you've got to make sure she's good. You can't make her dependent on the government because you fell out of love.
But do you think she would stay or would she just go back to Brazil? I think she'd go back to Brazil.
I think she would too. And I think actually, that's why even when he did that whole throwing the credit card and throwing the money, and obviously that was all for show, like, well, go get it. How? What's she gonna do? Tell the car where to take her? Because she can't drive. But it's like the fact that he even did that and threw the money. And she's right. That is disrespectful no matter where in the world you are. Very disrespectful.
Well, strip clubs, it's not disrespectful in a strip club.
Everywhere except the strip club in the world. That is. But that's the thing that she was so right. Like, and he was just an ass in this entire episode, and the fact that she forgave him that easy, I'm just like, yeah, you probably need to give him a little bit more. Like, do this shit one more time. I'm leaving, or just leave. Fuck it.
Well, she just can't walk out the door and go back to Brazil.
Well, then there's that too. There's that too.
There's no Uber that's going to take her there.
The Tesla would. Take me to Brazil. Okay. Speaking of all this financial stuff, that's obviously been, as we talk about, this financial power. And you see this in this dynamic from the very beginning, Bilal and Shaeeda and ATL. Question I have for you. What's up with the men on this show not opening the door for women and letting them through the door first? They get to his sister's house, and what does he do? Stand behind me, woman. Let me hug my sister first. Instead of, hey, in through the door. What happened to chivalry? Does it not exist in the show?
I don't know. I mean, he's not from Texas, so he doesn't know any better. That's not how we do. I can't speak for the men outside of the great state of Texas, but that's not how we operate.
So in the country of Texas, that's standard. Okay, gotcha.
Should be. Definitely. Should be standard. That's why we have guns. If you don't do it, you get shot.
How do you greet in Texas? That's how you say hello. Am I wrong in thinking this, though? Bilal's sister is an enabler, right? Because the way she was talking to Shaeeda, the wedding dress shopping and stuff like that, I'm like, I get it. That's your brother. However, it feels like she's an enabler, and she's worried about Shaeeda's third engagement, but she's not worried about Bilal's third marriage.
But I made a note of that because remember you called me out and I was like, she's been engaged twice before. What happened there? You're like, who are you to judge? I'm like, his sister did the exact same things. I'm like,
she sure did. If y'all should meet,
if you're that passionate about getting married and having babies, and you're the only one who has what's happened. And again, I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there's a story, and maybe that it's beneficial that she got out of those relationships. Who knows? But her sister questioned the same thing. I'm sorry, Bilal's sister questioned the same thing that I questioned. And how, she's standing there, crying about, I'm the only one that's not married and all this other stuff. And I think, Bilal's sister she's going to take Bilal's side first.
Of course.
And when she made that comment, like, I've not seen that side of him. But again, I only see the jolly side, which is possibly true. But I'm sure she knows her brother is
exactly. She knows he's an asshole
and OCD and all those things. But she's obviously going to always take her brother, especially with cameras on. You don't ever go against the family. You learn that in The Godfather. You never go against the family. So, but I don't know about you, but I get this. I still get this weird, crazy vibe from Shy. There's just something about her that just gives me this vibe that she's a little off.
Does she have a little bit of crazy? Yeah, she's a West Indian woman, of course. They all do. That's a given. It comes with the territory. It's there. Trust me. But at the same time, he is not doing anything to make that better. He is constantly working against her in so many different ways, with the kids part, the prenuptial agreement, which I'm not mad at him for having a prenup. But I think they did a bad job of explaining what it is and what's in it. And the fact that she was reading the contract like this means that she really wasn't reading it well, because the proper thing to do would have been to turn the phone this way so you can get it in big print so you can actually scroll through and see everything that's on it. You can't read Jack this way.
Well, again, this is another one of those, and this is producers hyping this up, I'm sure. The prenup and the kid thing, those two things should have been decided before she got on a plane and came to the States. And so I believe this is just hype and part of the drama of reality TV, which is why I hate this stupid shit. But I think that's all that was, because he just didn't all of a sudden, hey, so my lawyer drafted this, check this out. And I'm with you. I agree with the prenup. And I really don't think that she's after his money. Right. She might want to live a certain lifestyle. I don't think that she's after his money, but she is looking to be taken care of. I don't hear her, I can't wait till I can work because I'm going to do this and I want to grow a career and I'm going to start my yoga studio and I want to build up a clientele. Haven't seen any of that.
But she'd already talked about her clientele before, that she'd done that online. So it is only helping anyway. So.
Right. But she can still be doing that online. If you've been doing online yoga, you can do that from the US and still start generating income. So, but I don't think that she's like after his money.
Right.
And I think for her to say that your first wife didn't have to have a prenup because he was broke. Your first wife, he was young. So it's not like he had what he's built right now. And so I would agree. Definitely get a prenup. But y'all should have settled on that before you bought a plane ticket.
I think I just thought about it. As I looked at my notes, I realized one of the things that I thought about why I think she's a little materialistic, right? And she wants that, like you said, that certain lifestyle. Because he said to her, oh, we're not going that way. We're going VIP onto the Ferris wheel. Now, that Ferris wheel is outside of my office. I mean, I literally look out my office and I look at the Ferris wheel every day, right? I'm not sure if you saw it, but I didn't notice any VIP need in that. It looked like the regular card of all the others. There was nothing special in that one they were in. The line was no shorter than the other line because there was no line. What was the VIP? But the fact that she kept bringing it up later, like, yes, because the VIP treatment, I'm like, what VIP treatment? There was no champagne, no nothing, no dinner on the Ferris wheel. What was so VIP about it?
I don't know. But I think there's two types of dudes. There are dudes who are romantic and don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then there are the ones who are like, I'm romantic.
Yeah.
I like to do this. And I do romance. And I like to do my romantic thing. And I'm just looking a bit loud. I'm like, come on, man.
There are three. Because then there's Flavor Flav, who's romantical.
Well, I don't look at a Ferris wheel as romance.
Yeah.
And a carriage ride, is that romantic? It depends. A carriage ride at 8 o'clock in the morning? No. Carriage ride at sunset, under the moonlight, with wine, champagne, that's romantic in my opinion. But I don't know. I mean, it just depends. Whatever, maybe if somebody just sitting in a carriage, they feel like that's romance, that's awesome. As long as you love it. If you love it, I like it.
I will add a carriage ride with a prenuptial agreement on the phone.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this view. This view is beautiful. Look at this. Oh, check out this view right here. Check out this view right here.
And if you think about it, he was right because he said you got to see a view of Atlanta that most people don't get to see, unless of course they went up in the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
But the one thing he was right about was they don't go up there and then get to see a prenuptial agreement.
Yeah. And other things most people don't get to see except me and my lawyer is this prenuptial agreement that we drafted. Let me help you out. Let me turn it sideways. Well, here's what's interesting because she was asking, what do I get? Like if something happens. And he was saying, well, look, it says that as long as I am your husband, I will be doing this, this, and this. I'm like, okay,
I peeped that too.
Yeah, I'm like, well played. As long as I'm your husband, you will be taken care of.
And that is not what she asked, but he was slick in his answer. You're right. I peeped that too. It's right there in the beginning. What are you talking about? And as he's going through it, I'm like, that sounds like what you should be doing. It doesn't say anything about what happens if, because all you're doing is protecting yours. To me, that prenuptial agreement came across as like an employee agreement, right? When you're full time and you sign these deals, sometimes you sign a contract, and sometimes you sign an employment agreement. You want the contract because that one's usually going in both favors. The employment agreement is just short of a slave agreement. I like to call it indentured servant agreement because at least you get paid for it. I actually said that to a general manager once. He was not happy, but I said I would call this a slave agreement, but I actually get paid. Oh, he was mad about that.
I bet.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this goes because next week she's actually trying to put some more things into it, which I think it's a fair ask. I'm anxious to see what his reaction is going to be when she says, we put a time frame for the kid in there because she's right. If you want to put all this stuff in here, then let's negotiate. Let me throw something in that I need too.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Bilal's going to be like, oh, that's awesome. That sounds great. No.
Well, look, don't forget, we'll be right back here next Sunday for episode 11. Of course, don't forget, we also drop our regular episodes, audio on Monday. Tuesday, we drop the video on YouTube. And we're closer, but, Terrell's feeling pretty confident because we're not at that goal for the deal with the devil so that we can get him to go ahead and commit to season 15 of Married at First Sight San Diego. If we want to take the trip to San Diego, we need a couple more people. Just grab everybody grab somebody. We'll be there in no time. And we got till July 5th.
I'm not even worried.
I can tell. You just relax.
I'm going to sign up for a bowling league on Wednesday nights. That's how confident that I am.
Show us you're really confident. Sign up for MMA.
No, I don't want to do any monkey kicks, as you call them.
Oh, my God. Hey, I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terryl.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terryl, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit you find online, and we'll talk about it on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.